Hey pals, it's Haley, so welcome back to a new video! Today we're going to be reviewing slash discussing slash relating to, I don't know how to put it, but we're going to be talking about John Green's newest book, Turtles All the Way Down. This book has been through a lot of stuff with me over the past month and a half, so it's got some sad marks, which I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's suffered some tragedies, it's lost its main cover, but... So this is John Green's first book since The Fault in Our Stars, which if you haven't heard of The Fault in Our Stars, just Google it. I don't want to spoil it for you, so go Google it, and if Google spoils it for you, I can totally say it was not my fault. But that was a huge breakout hit. I mean, think about, it was probably a New York bestseller, it became a movie, The Fault in Our Stars is such a hard thing to create another one. You know what I mean? Everyone expected so much out of him after that. So I think that may have been why he took a while to write this fantastic book, which in my opinion definitely holds up the standard of being probably even better than The Fault in Our Stars. It was just so much pressure for him, and so I'm really glad he took the time to write another one because I really love this book, which we'll get into more later. I just want to quickly take the time to thank not my sponsor. Gosh, I wish I had a sponsor, but I don't. I would just like to take this time to thank my teacher because this is a book that I chose for an independent reading project. But I think it's so awesome that teachers give high school students the time to read an independent reading book, and I think if I didn't have the time every Friday to sit in class and read this book, I never would have gotten around to reading it. I mean, it's been sitting on my shelf since the beginning of the school year, but I just never had the time to read it, and I'm really glad that I got to read it. So thank you to my teacher. You're probably watching. Thank you to my teacher. And I think reading is so important, and I'm really glad that she inspired me to read this book. So thanks. So I think before we continue, we should probably do some mood lighting because what we're going to be talking about is a little sad, and I don't really want to see my true emotions. So we're just gonna, Alexa, turn off lamp. I really didn't realize how stupid that would look. I'm sorry. That was really stupid. I apologize for how silly the Alexa thing is. Yeah, this is much better. I could sit here and I could simply just talk about the basic premise of the book, and I could just talk about the whole plot and spoil the whole thing for you, but I'm not going to do that because I want you to read this book yourself. I don't want you to just... I don't know. I don't want you to just watch this and just be like, okay, I know what happens, I don't have to read it, because everyone should read this book. Yes, another thing that sounds really stupid when I'm editing it. So I don't know who I was referring to when I said the word you 4 bajillion times in that last clip, but I'm trying to just address you guys as a whole instead of individually. So I don't know why I said you and made you guys feel really singled out, but sorry about that. The basic idea is that there's this girl, this 16-year-old girl named Aza Holmes, who suffers from severe OCD and anxiety. And her and her best friend get wrapped up in this mystery of this billionaire who ran away from his son and is nowhere to be found. And there's a $100,000 reward. And the best part of it is that they know his son. And so, madness ensues, and I won't get too much into it because I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm sorry again. I mean, I know that sounds so vague, but I really just cannot, in good heart, spoil this book for you because, in my opinion, this is the best book I've probably read in 5 years. And that's saying something because I've read some pretty awesome books. But this book meant so much to me because of how similar I am to the main character, and I don't want to spoil it for you. So if you want to know more about the plot, Google it or go read the book. That would be preferable, but if you don't have the time, I understand, just go Google it. There's a really good New York Times article, but I just couldn't spoil it for you. Sorry. But I just want you to know the reasons why I love this book so much. So the characters are very unique, and I know they're very cliche in the way they're unique. There's a very stereotypical chatty best friend, and there's the quiet, mentally has multiple problems. The best way to put it is there's the chatty best friend, the flawed main character, the flawed protagonist, and then there's the almost perfect but not really love interest. And it's just, the characters are really predictable, but yet they're so unique. Let's take the love interest, for example, Davis Pickett. He's mysterious and brooding, and he loves looking at the sky, and he loves stuff like that. But even though that's his character, he feels like he could be a real person. And that's what I love so much about John Green's writing in all of his books. All of his characters feel like they could be real. And same is true with Aza, but I'll get into more how I feel about the main character later when I talk about myself. I just think the characters as a whole are very unique and interesting, and characters you don't see every day, and even though they may be a part of a stereotype, they're not exactly that stereotype. Like, they're unique, and I love that so much, especially when it comes to Davis and Daisy. Those are my two favorite characters. That's the best friend and the love interest, and I think that's so awesome. And if we're really here to discuss how I feel about this book, we need to talk about the quote-unquote elephant in the room, the anxiety. So a lot of the authors nowadays will try and write about anxiety, and they'll almost get it. Like, they'll come really close to really writing down in words how it feels to have anxiety, but they won't really nail it. John Green in this book absolutely nails the description of anxiety and putting it into words. The main character has these specific, unique things that make her not just unique, but they show her anxiety in physical form. Like, she has a cut on her middle finger that she constantly has to open and reopen, take off of the band-aid, reopen it to clean out the non-existent infection, but she feels like she has to. And that's a really good representation of OCD, which I personally don't have. But what really got me is what John Green described as thought spirals, which is pretty much when you will be thinking about something completely normal, and then your brain will just start, like, it'll start saying something, and it'll just keep saying that something. Like, let's take choir, for example. I'm sitting in choir, and I have emetophobia, which is the fear of people vomiting, or just vomit in general. I have a huge fear of it. So if I am sitting in choir, and I know someone was homesick the day before, all choir will not be able to focus at all on my music or anything, because all I'll be thinking about is, oh my gosh, what if she got sick right now? Like, oh my god, she could be sick. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even look. Sorry about that, I just got a fire call, so I got a little distracted, but I'm back now.
So the rest of this video, because after I got that call, I just sort of was really distracted and not really focusing, so the rest of the video I recorded was really not good and rough, so I'm just going to talk about it now. So because of my emetophobia, every time I am anywhere and I know someone else was sick, even in the last month, I won't be able to focus on anything except that. And it's not that I think it's gross, because most people think vomit's gross. It's not that. I fear it. Like, I feel like if it happens, it'll be the end of the world or something. Because I also don't fear death. So it's not like I'm afraid I'm gonna die or something. It's just a fear of it happening, which I know it's really hard to understand if you don't have it, but if you do have something similar, it might make sense. But John Green's interpretation of anxiety and the way that he showed her fear of getting C. diff, which is like a disease she has. Yes, I'm adding an editing video within an editing video. So she doesn't have C. diff, she just is constantly afraid that she will have it, because she'll constantly search the WebMD article about it, and it's just another interpretation, another physical manifestation of her OCD. So I'm sorry I didn't say that right. It's early in the morning. OCD, and she is constantly thinking about the biome inside of her and all the little diseases that are just, crumbling inside of her. I don't think that weird wording even deserves words on my behalf, so I'm sorry. Crumbling inside of her? What does that even mean? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. One of the best ways he portrays that is later, which, spoiler alert, Aza and Davis are kissing, and she just can't do it because she's constantly thinking about, oh my gosh, his germs are now inside of me, and they'll never be gone, and I will live the rest of my life with his germs inside of me. And even though I don't have that exact fear, I really relate to this character, and that's why this book had such a major impact on me. So, I don't know if that was clear in the way I was explaining it, but yeah.
This book impacted me because I related so much to the character that as I was reading, it was just a lot to take in. I had to read it in small doses, otherwise I would literally get upset. But as a final rating, I think I would give this book a thumbs up, which I know is not a good rating, but I would probably give this book a 4.5 out of 5. The only reason I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 5 is because no one's perfect. Nothing's perfect. But this book is pretty dang close to being perfect.
So this whole review, I was talking about how I felt about the book and how I thought it was the most amazing book in the world, which I still think is true. But I just realized that I never actually said anything bad about it. So, to be fair, it's not perfect. Like, in the beginning, it was really hard for him to, like, get the balls rolling again. Get the balls rolling? Get the ball rolling again? I don't remember what that saying is, but you know what I mean. It was hard for him to start over again after The Fault in Our Stars. And you can tell in the writing, it's really awkward for the first couple chapters, but after that it gets in a roll. So it's a little hard to start out, but if you suffer through, it's so good.
So I would give it a 4.5 out of 5, and then I would recommend that every single person, definitely teenagers, even if you're an adult, I think you should read this book because it really impacted me, and I think it helps explain teenage anxiety and how a lot of teenagers feel in a very easy to understand and simple way. Like simple things like her finger and the way that she constantly opens it back up, or like the fact that, you know, teenagers name their cars, or like there's so many things in this book that are just so relatable and so easy to understand that it's a really good representation of teenage society. So in my opinion, everyone should read this book. I know that I personally connected to this character, and I feel like a lot of you guys can too. So please read this book. Okay, that's all I have to say. Alright, see ya.
Talk about an awkward ending. So sorry about again how awkward that is and how awkward this whole video is. But to be clear, this was for a school project. So if you're watching this, which you will be watching this, hi teacher, thank you for letting me read. But for the rest of you, I hope you liked the video and leave some comments down below and subscribe if you want. I mean, I haven't done a review before. I'm not really like a book person just because I'm more into music and stuff, which is obvious by my other videos. But if you want me to do more stuff like this, comment down below some books you recommend, because Christmas is coming and I can ask for some of them for Christmas and then I can review them if you want. But everyone should read this book. Okay, thanks for watching. Sorry, I just figured I should apologize again for how awkward this video was. But yeah, so bye bye. See you next time.